I never thought I would be making a video on this channel about racism, but this is probably the most important video I will ever make. If you only watch one video, this is it. I'm not the most eloquent with words. I've sat down to try to record this countless times, but everything that I have to say comes from my heart. The goal of this video is to check my own privilege, to tell you to check your privilege, to educate ourselves, to find ways to end the systemic racism that's going on right now in our country and the world, and to support and stand with the Black community, because Black lives matter. My name is Heather. I am an allergy nurse. I am white. I was raised with white privilege. I am privileged. But I stand with the Black community and I support them to the best of my ability. If you think that this problem we are facing does not affect you, think again. I encourage you to all do a self-reflection of what this means to you. I have never feared for my life because of the color of my skin. I have never walked down the street thinking or having other people think I was a suspicious person because of the color of my skin. I've never been afraid to be pulled over by a police officer for a traffic violation, knowing that I'm just gonna have a conversation and get a ticket. But if my skin color with a little bit more melanin in it was different, then those situations might have been very different. I might have been terrified to be threatened for no reason, to have other people be violent against me, or even to have my life taken just because of the color of my skin. The recent murder of George Floyd because of the color of his skin has caused a national and worldwide outrage. And for good reason. It is terrible that it had to take a person being killed for our country to start coming together and realizing that this is a systemic problem. I myself am angry, I am disgusted, I am horrified, I am shaken to my core about how another human being was murdered just based on the color of his skin. There needs to be something done for Black people and people of color. A disclaimer for this video that I'm ashamed to say, I actually have been uncomfortable on how to address the Black community or African Americans, Blacks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the correct terminology, so if you have any corrections for me, please leave me a comment. In school, all the literature, all the books, everything, it was politically correct to say African American, but I know from personal experience that is not how a lot of Blacks identify. And African American is inherent, that you come from Africa. Well, there are a lot of people with darker skin who do not come from Africa, and they do not identify with that. So, one practice change that I have, or that I will be implementing, is to ask my patients, how do you racially identify? Because instead of me having these assumptions in myself or being uncomfortable with what I'm about to say to a patient. That is not okay. It is the best practice to be upfront with somebody and recognize that it is my fault that I have not educated myself enough to be able to use a specific term for a community or a specific person, because I may be using it incorrectly, and that may deeply offend one of my patients. So that is something that I will not be doing from here on out. I will be asking them and telling them where race comes into play. So I need to know that information. And again, it's not racism to ask somebody what their race is. That's just a question. It's an objective question. What I think is important is that we lump people together. We've historically created or treated all people equal, giving them the same care based on their backgrounds, based on their race, their ethnicity, their culture. It's different treatment plans, different care plans. Everybody is unique. And so without bringing race into that and celebrating it and identifying that this person is unique, it would do them a disservice if we didn't address that and we didn't come up with the best possible care plan for that person. And so just that simple act of asking a patient how they racially identify is one change that I will have in my practice. And all allergy nurses should. Growing up, I always thought of myself as someone who thought everyone was created equal, everyone should be treated equal. I lived in a diverse community in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I did live in a predominantly white neighborhood. I was taught to give everybody the respect of being equals. I was colorblind, so to speak. But man, in the last 2 weeks, I've done this self-reflection, and I think that being colorblind in the past has been a detriment to the Black community. We are not created equal. We are not equals. In fact, as a mom, as a nurse, I tell my children, I tell my patients that we're all unique. Everybody has something unique about them. Everybody has something to celebrate. In nursing school, we learn about culturally competent care, and culturally competent care means that you recognize the ethnicity and the culture of your patients, and you come up with care plans accordingly. You speak to them differently on a level that the patient can understand. In no means derogatory, but to have empathy for those patients. And because nursing is the most trusted profession, and by building trust, we need to research our patients. We need to research the best way that we can take care of them. So that's culturally competent care. But in nursing school, never was race brought up. We should be proud of our race. We should be proud of our ethnicity, of our culture, of any disabilities that we have, any unique abilities have, anything that makes us unique, anything that makes us stand out. Why do we want to be the same as everybody else? There's so much to celebrate in being unique individuals. I want to bring this issue back to my specialty, because allergy nursing is a specialty. As with any specialty, there are health disparities in accessing specialized care. So what can we do about this? How can we confront our health system to eliminate these disparities? I don't know, but I am going to be working on this. And I encourage any other allergy nurse out there and any other healthcare professional, to be working on this issue and confront our healthcare system to address this issue and to do something about it. I am going to dig deep about how I can be a better allergy nurse with respect to supporting the Black community. How can I bring that into my practice? I don't know the answers today. I'm still in research stage. I'm still educating myself. I don't have any facts and figures to throw out here today because I have a science brain. I want to know the studies that have been done. I want to know how many subjects there were. Is it significant, the findings? I look at all of that. I've seen many studies in the last 10 years that say, well, it's likely that Black children have much more food allergies than white children. I've learned that Blacks are more likely to die from asthma than their white counterparts. But I need to do my own research more on that to see how someone can make such a bold statement. And is this accurate? Do we need to be making practice decisions? Do I need to be educating any Black patients coming in to my office? Do I need to create different care plans for my patients? Knowing these statistics, I don't know because I haven't done enough education and research myself. I want to leave this video with an idea on something that you can do. And this has actually come up to me twice in the last week where I felt the need to speak out, and I did. And that's, it's not very clear. It might not be very clear right now of what you can do, but prepare yourself for being in a uncomfortable situation, an unexpected situation. It may come as a surprise to you, but if a coworker, if a patient, if a friend, a family member, if anybody in your life says something that is racist, does something that is racist, that does not support the Black community and instead tears them down, speak up. Because if you don't speak up, if you don't say something, if you don't tell that person, hey, I'm not going to tolerate you talking to my friend like that, then you are being complacent, and by not saying anything, not speaking up, that is the problem. So speak up, make your voice heard. This is one of the most uncomfortable, this is the most uncomfortable video I have ever made, possibly the most uncomfortable video I will ever make, but I felt compelled to take my heart and put it into words about this issue. And again, this video is not about me, but this is my way of creating change. White people need to be involved in this issue, because without us all figuring out a way to change, without us all getting our voices out there, then nothing is going to change. So we must act for change. We must abolish racism, eradicate it, because nobody deserves to suffer. Nobody deserves to die. I will be making this a priority in my profession. I will not stand for anything less, because this is a human rights issue. As I mentioned before, racism needs to be eradicated. Anything less is just not good enough.